I found probably the funniest, best, worst review of Lost Ark that I have ever seen or even heard of. And I just want to talk you through it with me and just experience this lovely, beautiful piece of garbage of a video with me. It'll be great. So yeah, let's just get into it. As you can aptly see, it is called Why I Hate Lost Ark, Terrible Game. And there's nothing wrong with a negative review. Let's just see what is wrong with the review.
Hello, welcome back to...
Can't fault for the voice crack.
Been playing the brand new Lost Ark.
It's 4 years old, not brand new.
Another MMO from Amazon Game Studio.
It's not from Amazon Game Studios, it's from Smilegate.
Up after their first MMO attempt, kind of...
It's not their MMO attempt.
New World kind of failed as a game within a month. Amazon is back at it again with a brand new...
Amazon is not back at anything.
Unfortunately, it was a massive disappointment, and I found the game to be, in general, very lacking in luster.
Very lacking in luster? I've heard of lackluster. Ah, it's lacking in a gentle sheen or soft glow. Maybe it is lacking in luster. You know, he might be right here. Maybe we need more of a gentle sheen or soft glow. It's hard to tell. Anyway, back to it.
Positive lights.
Ooh.
I have to say, you can adjust nearly every single feature of your character's face and body, to the point that I was even able to make a fairly accurate representation of my ex-girlfriend's face in the game.
Is that weird? I'll leave that up to you.
Also really impressed with how attractive the female model characters are in this game.
Even a hater can appreciate the Lost Ark waifu material that we all know and love. Even this guy who says, why I hate Lost Ark, terrible game, even he can. You know what? That goes to show the Lost Ark waifus are the best.
I just could not stop staring at her. This is the only good part of the game.
It's definitely the best part. So yeah, I'll give him that. Oh dear.
You can barely even see your character because the camera angle is so high up and so far away, you can barely...
Okay, sure, that's fine. Yeah, you know what? I would rather just look at my character than nothing else. You know what? Phase everything out. Don't even include the world. I don't want to see the monsters I'm fighting. I don't want to see the abilities I'm using. I just want to see my character. That should be the game. Nothing else. Do it, Smilegate. You won't. You won't.
I thought this game looks exactly like Diablo 3.
Is it Diablo? I've always thought it was Diablo. You know, like the devil. Or am I pronouncing that wrong as well?
Diablo.
It sounds weird.
Diablo 3, an actually good and high quality game.
Well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's just a Blizz fan. Do those exist anymore?
Yes, it does look visually more impressive than Diablo 3 does, but it's kind of like Diablo 3's better looking, more attractive, older, younger brother.
Wait. Here's the Diablo's older, younger, more attractive brother. Wait, older, younger, more attractive brother. So same age and more attractive. Is that what? What does that even mean? Is that even a sentence? What am I meant to get from that? This is your review. What am I meant to? What does that mean? Does that mean things? That doesn't mean things. That's not English. Is that English?
Standard MMO/RPG kind of game. So you've just got hordes of enemies and you just kind of...
I would say the bog standard MMO RPG sort of thing is a tab-based MMO like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, billion others. I'm sure you've played them. And that's fine. That's the audio. I would say that this is quite different because of its whole action. It's more involved than that. You know, maybe he's just more of a fan of that type because he's so used to it. And of course, I would agree with that, except for the fact that he's a Diablo fan. But who knows? Maybe it's just his preference.
The gameplay in this game is extremely boring. I just found myself to be smashing and mashing the left mouse button. When
he tries out all the other classes, he'll see there's a very big disparity in between the classes, so there's always something there for someone, as each class plays completely different to the other classes, and it's like playing a completely different game.
You have your entire WASD, QE, and spacebar.
Spacebar? Spacebar's a dash. It's a roll. It's a slink. It isn't an ability. It's a, ooh, let me move out the way. That's not an ability. That is a sidestep at best. What is he talking about? And you get only 4 abilities at the start. How are you overwhelmed by 4 abilities?
I didn't know which ability did what. I couldn't be bothered to read a little tooltip that explains the different...
Oh my lord. I could not be bothered to read the tooltip. It's a little line that says, this does damage by kicking them in the face. How can you review a game but not even read what your skills do? There's 4 skills that you get at the beginning. You couldn't read 4 lines?
That each ability has, they all just kind of did the same thing.
They all just did the same thing. They don't even do close to the same thing. You're playing War Dancer as a fighter class. A lot of the beginners do similar things, but that's because you're a martial artist. You got your fists and you got your feet. What else do you want to do? I mean, she already has a massive tornado. There's a bunch of stuff in there. What is he talking about? He would know that if he read the skills that they were beautifully, intricately designed. And it's not overwhelming in the beginning because they give you quite simple ones, quite the base parts of your class. And if you play any other class, probably not a fighter. Fighters are probably the most simple one, especially early on in the game. Tier 3, a bit lesser. They are obviously a bit more intense with all the swiftness and the uptime. But early in game, where you're leveling, they're very simple. Just because it's a martial artist, you got your fists and you got your feet. What does he want from them? Does he want them to shoot magic sparks out of their butt? I mean, what? Maybe they do. He doesn't know. He hasn't read the tooltip. Let's carry on. This part of the video is sponsored by AOEAH.com. Please check them out below and use the code Akamara at checkout. Thank you.
I didn't feel like I earned the abilities. I was just kind of given them straight from the beginning. Before I even had any combat experience, I've already got like 8 different abilities and powers.
Imagine the beginning of Lost Ark. You load up the game and all you can do is just do your basic attack. That would be horrible. I wouldn't want to play that. The basic attacks suck. They're not meant to be good. It's meant to just be filler.
The story of the game so far is extremely boring.
The story so far, a little bit boring. You know what? I understand that. I didn't find it that interesting in the beginning either. I still don't find it the best part of the game. Of course, it's probably the most tedious sometimes, especially when it's an unskippable cutscene and you're just mashing that escape button. But that's a fine take. I understand it. It can be boring. I do enjoy the lore now, but that's probably because of my appreciation and love for the rest of the game. So it's just kind of brought the lore with it. It does get better towards the end of Tier 3. A lot of that storylines gets quite interesting. When you start to get to Punika, it gets to be a bit more enthralling, let's say.
It's just kind of like your typical RPG tropes.
It is quite typical RPG tropes. Nothing wrong with that though. It's something that we can all understand. I do understand that sometimes tropiness can get a bit annoying though.
The story of the game is not supposed to be the main draw in this kind of game. It's
True.
supposed to be an addictive hack and slash game.
Hack and slash is a bit of a redundant term, I believe. A hack and slash would be something more like Bayonetta. It's a fantastic game, but it is a bit more. Let's go with billions of mobs and just kill them all in very interesting ways. That is the point of the game. That is not the point of this game. The point of this game is to get to that, well, currently in its current position, is to get to that tier 3 content, progress through it, and enjoy it. You have to play things quite strategically. It isn't as simple as a hack and slash game. Hack and slash games are less mechanically challenging. They are more about just enjoying some simple combat, keeping at it. Of course, there are differences in that, but there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But in this game, there is a lot of mechanics. If you would say any of the raids, even the low tier 1 abyssal, they could be difficult if you're not paying attention. You have to be doing the mechanics or you're going to fail. That is not how hack and slash games work. You can just hack and slash. I think it's too simple of a term to call it hack and slash, but in the beginning, especially during leveling and maybe some tier 1 content as well, it can feel a bit hack and slashy. Of course, chaos dungeons as well, very hack and slashy. So I understand where he's coming from with that, but even in chaos dungeons, you can easily die. With this prologue and a lot of the leveling process, it is very hack and slashy, so I understand where he's coming from there. But once he gets to the tier 1, tier 2, and then tier 3 content, he's going to see for certain that it is not even close to a hack and slash game. But we'll see what happens when he gets there. I'm assuming that's at the end of the video. Is there only 2 minutes left? Does he have that long to... I guess he blasts through all the rest of the tiers pretty quickly, yeah? Okay, cool.
The combat just didn't really give me much of a challenge. There's no blocking or countering.
There is blocking, there is countering. Blocking for gun lancers, obviously. Big shield, blah, blah, blah. Countering, very important. Every single character has counters and it's very important, especially in those end game raids. The boss turns blue, does a little charge, does a little attack, one of the other things, and you hit him square in the face, right in the jaw, and then he gets staggered for a second. It's not as much as obviously a stagger check, is not down for very long, but it can mean extra DPS and less damage, so it's very important, especially when every little damage helps in those end game raids. But at this point there isn't any, but there is a lot of movement abilities, especially for Scrapper, who is playing right now.
You can easily dodge out of the way just by walking or running out of the area of effects without even using the spacebar.
In the prologue, yes, with the very easy things. He said, I'm overwhelmed with 4 abilities, but I want to have extremely hard mechanics early on in the game. No, they're easing you into it. Of course, they don't want to give you Abril right at the beginning of the game. They're going to give you some little guy that's like, this is a very big telegraphed ability. I'm going to punch you in the face, okay? Move out of the way. I give you 30 seconds to move out of the way. Here we go. Oh, you dodged. Well done. Congratulations. They're not going to be like, okay, that's not good. That is bad etiquette. That would not be teaching me anything. I would just be punched in the face, and I don't like being punched in the face. It feels horrible.
I also get a very bad mouth in my taste knowing that Amazon
Very bad mouth in his taste. All right.
is behind this game, because
Amazon is not behind this game.
are they still working on New World? Did they
Even if Amazon Game Studios would be behind this game, they are a huge company, and the New World team and the Lost Ark team are probably have very little to do with each other. I very much doubt that they have any crossover at all. Maybe they have a little bit in like the marketing department or the legal department, so one of those things, you know, but in the actual publishing and area, especially development area, because New World development is nothing like Lost Ark development, and in fact they aren't developing it, they're only publishing it. Okay, let's carry on.
Amazon Gaming Studios just rubs me.
You know what? I understand. They rob a lot of people the wrong way, especially in the Lost Ark community. We can be a bit frustrated with them sometimes, but you've got to give them a fair shake. You've got to be unbiased. That's how a reviewer is. You can't put your own distastefulness towards a company towards them. That is unfair. That is not how a proper games journalist should do it.
Smash hit video game for some reason. It's just really weird thinking that Amazon is behind making this game.
They didn't even make the game. It's been out for 4 years. Smilegate made it in Korea. It's been out. It's very successful. It's already a successful MMO. It's just becoming more successful in a different region.
Or just being a supermarket. We're going to make video games now because that's cool.
More competitiveness in any market, especially the video game market, is a good thing. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And if it's coming from Amazon Game Studio, that's a good thing, because the AAA market is very hard to get into unless you're already a successful AAA company. And of course they can do it because they got a lot of money. That's a good thing. That forces other AAA companies to be better. Of course, AAA companies, they can just walk all over us video games as much as they want, because there's not very many of them, and there's not very many that can make those sort of AAA games. Another big company stepping in and doing it is great. It doesn't matter if the games suck, it just matters that there's more competitiveness. And they didn't make this game. But okay.
A lackluster 3.6 out of...
He does like his lusters, doesn't he? Well, the lack of them.
Since the game's free, which is...
It is free.
For them to offer the game for free, I remember New World
Amazon have nothing to do with that. It has always been a free game.
was like £40.
New World was actually a pretty good price, £36 I believe, maybe 35, which is pretty damn good, especially with the lack of expansion. And I will just say this, I got a couple 100 hours out of New World, which is pretty great for 35 quid. It isn't good, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but I got my money's worth probably. So he didn't go over any of the tiers at all. Let's just say he probably did little to no research on this at all, seeing as he could have just typed in who made Lost Ark, and it would have been like, oh, Smilegate made it. And they were like, oh, what? I thought ZealsAmbitions made it. But no, most things he said were completely wrong. He didn't go into the game at all. This is completely biased. He went into the prologue, didn't even finish the prologue. Maybe he did. He said something about going to Pride Home, but that is a tiny step out of the prologue. He finished the prologue, and then he stepped out and was like, nah, that's it. And it seems like he only played Scrapper. And I'm a Scrapper main. I love Scrapper. She's my favorite. But it can be quite boring early on. And it is not for everyone, not at all. I would recommend trying out every single class, especially if you're going to review the game. You should be able to play every class, or at least try every class. So anyway, that was that. I hope you enjoyed. I just had to share it with all of you, and I appreciate the support I've got from all of you lately. Bye bye.